G'day everybody, it's Neil here and welcome back to Mordheim, City of the Damned Early Access 0.20.4.2. This is the 6th content update we've had, and actually it's very nice. I missed the last major content update, because there were only a couple of things, so what we're going to do is we're going to go through both of those patches very quickly, and then we're going to get to the good stuff. So, the highlights of the last patch, 0.19.4.5, were consumables, so you were able to buy items for your Warband, basically the same way you would buy armor, and then you could use them during the battle. Things like poison clouds and things like buffs and debuffs and things like that, and importantly, health. So that was from the last patch. We got an improved overview map. I was very frustrated with the overview map with a few things, and they have sorted that out. At least in my opinion, it is much more usable. Totally does not get in the way. You don't fight the UI anymore when you're checking out the overview, and it doesn't actually give away any secrets anymore as a result of that fix. The big thing from 0.19.4.5 is the hiring system and the Warband management screen. It looks great. It looks very similar. We're going to jump into that later. It looks very similar to the last way, but now we can actually hire people. There's a full management system getting ready for the campaign. You can basically, I suppose, run a personal tournament if you like. I know there's a huge Steam group, you can check the link below, there's a huge Steam group that often runs tournaments, and they will be using this sort of thing. So, that was the highlights from 0.19.4.5. From the current patch, the highlights are a new camera system. This has been a thorn in everybody's side since day dot, and it's finally been rejigged. So we're expecting a lot less weirdness, and a lot more fluidity, and basically less glitches overall. Combat circles. They will not betray you now, or they will not benefit you now, I hope. But I know I used to take advantage of fighting through walls, against the computer AI, of course, only. But that sort of thing has been fixed. So, yeah, and getting engaged on the stairs is not so weird, and that sort of thing. I guess there's a lot more respect for where you are in the game now, and the combat circles. And this is my favorite thing. It's pretty naff, but this is one of my favorite things. Colors. There are 12 color presets for all units and armor, and really great, we're gonna check this out too, is that units like the Radaga and the Chaos Spawn, they actually have an overall skin color change. It's so naff. It is great though. It adds so much character to the game, and like I said, for the people running the tournaments and things like that, this is huge, because you can brand your Warband, and you can manage it now, and the mutations are random, for example, on the followers of Chaos, so everything has got so much more character. It's much more alive, especially from the early days. So let's go to quickly go over a few of the things from patch 19.4.5. So we're not going to go over everything, because they have added a swag of spells and items and fixes and runes and whole kit and caboodle. You can check those out on the forums. I'll leave a link below if you really want to check out that. If you've never seen the game before, that's all going to be new to you anyway. But let me tell you, it's fantastic. There's so much new stuff. So some of the things from 19.4.5. There's a lot of network fixes. So there's an invite friend button, for example. There's a waiting for players pop-up, which is important. Which I don't know why that wasn't there, but here we go. Here it is. So when you're in game and you're waiting for somebody else, it will say they're waiting for them. Loading screens no longer instantly transition. Well, the main loading screen no longer instantly transitions. So, those are very small changes, of course, but most of those changes have been balance changes and skill changes, and of course, our big things like the hiring system and the Warband management thing. Okay, so 0.20.4.2, the major things here, well, the major highlights, I guess. Descriptions have been rewritten for a lot of things. I know there were a lot of weird-sounding sentences, especially in English, I should say. But there's been a lot of them that have been rewritten, which is great. So there's no more placeholders. Well, I hope so. Stats of all heroes have been adjusted again. Every patch, there's always balance adjustments, so we can't not expect those. This is a great thing here. All units will start with a dodge stance activated automatically. This doesn't really matter if you're doing the one-on-one on the opposite ends of the city, but when you do the scenarios where you start engaged, this is a huge change. No longer are you insta-ganked by a Radaga at the start of a game, if you happen to start Well, not necessarily insta-jibbed. You've got a chance with your dodge stance, and if you don't use it, it is automatically cancelled. So that's a great change. I imagine that will go. I think this feels like a stopgap for now, but really good nonetheless. A couple of really good things on this patch, and this is like super credit to the devs. These are fun, great changes. Improved texture sharpness and updated pathfinding, so the game looks better and it runs better. You're not gonna have mobs, AI mobs, I suppose, running in circles around stairwells. And they did upgrade the textures a little while ago, a couple of patches ago, and now they've upgraded it again. So there's always somebody working behind the scenes on that. There's add checks to avoid connections with people that are not members of the current lobby. There's another networking change. And there's a few other changes, like fixed desync with casting spells. Now, I never personally experienced this, so this must have been, I don't know, either an edge case or a byproduct of fixing another bug, but in any case, all good, all great. Skill and spell changes, so many new skills and spells. Can't even begin to tell you how many changes they've made. So, the major changes. The Warband, the menus here have also been updated, as you can see. Continue, I've got a couple of Warbands there. But let's show everybody the new Warband management screen. And this is from the last patch. This is not from this patch. It's from the last patch. The last major patch, I should say. So, as usual, we got the level 0 if you're starting out, and we got the level 10 for testing all of the cool stuff. Here is a screen as we remember it. We see up in the corner we've actually got quite a few gold coins, and we've got a shop here. This is great. This is where we get our consumables. This is where all the magic happens. So you see on the back, this is the stuff on the left gets added to the inventory of the store on the right, and we can buy these as normal items. So you got Bugman's Ale here. Consumed when used in battle, increases chance to pass all alone fear and terror tests, because nobody's afraid when they're drunk. And then we can of course buy enchanted items and stuff like that. Well, items with slots and that sort of thing. So things like drafts, so they come in 2 rarities so far, of course. And this is the consumable menu. It's very nice, it's very usable, and it seems to be updated according to that interface once every game week, I suppose. We'll play a progression, but that hasn't changed for me, so I'm not quite sure. This is the new quote-unquote management screen. It looks a lot like the old one. As you can see on the left, we've got like the Warband management and the money on the top. And we got the background, and there are slots now down the bottom. And on the left, that tells you who we can hire for each of these slots down here. So we got our leader already decked out, so let's hire somebody new. So we've been a lift. We got a list here down the bottom. We got Cosimo, the Possessed. There's our mutant Barra from Hell, probably. Needseal, the Dark Soul. Herrick Brethren, so all of the Khan or the Marauders, all of the combat types that are allowed in this slot, those are the ones. So, they're possessed, big and scary. Let's hire this guy, go straight up higher, and that'll cost us 26.30. So now there's a full cash system as well. You can see it's taken up in the top right. And we can go straight back in by clicking his icon, and this gives us his overview. Now on the right, we see the description. Equipment proficiency, with all of the stuff he's allowed to take, and I guess it's good that he does take. Perks. A lot of these perks, these have been added to the game, but these were already in the game, partially with stuff like ignores all alone tests and causes terror and that sort of thing. These are now perks. So potentially some units can be upgraded to have these perks, so in that Warband progression. So this guy, he fights to the death, he'll never run away, and his mutation, gifted with random mutation at ranks 1, 5, and 10. Okay. So let's go straight through, and as usual, we've got all of the cool stuff for inventory where we can buff him. You see there's nice little touches here where that's orange now. This armor absorption thing is orange. As usual, we can respec, and we can see a nice randomization of Cosimo here. Looking quite nice. He's loving the horn, so there we go. He's got no face. So the colors. This is great. So this. We can go through it. There's no names on some of these. This is not the best unit to show colors on, I must admit. So we'll jump back. We'll go back to the Warband, and we'll check out our leader, our friend Magister Rual. I'm gonna check out some of these colors here. They are themed. If you've played Chaos, you'll see there's themed. Tzeentch Slanesh. Korn, of course, although why he's Korn's not allowed magic. But he's lovely wearing red anyway, let's face it. So this is one of those changes that I really enjoyed. So of course, the spells as usual. You can see down the bottom, a lot of this stuff looks much nicer now with the highlights, and some of these have been rewritten to make more sense, to be clearer, and to reduce some of the grammatical errors which were there. So let's leave this screen, and we'll go back. Alright, so let's load up the other warband I've had ready here, the Vile Fiends. We've just created the weird swords. The Vile Fiends is just a experimentation warband for this new patch. So let's jump in and we'll check out. This is the warband management screen, when you've decked out a few dudes, presumably with some progression. So you can see I've got a couple of boys here, a couple of boys at the back, a couple of chumps in the middle, and our lovely Cornate Chaos Spawn. So let's jump into the leader, we'll check it all out. So we've obviously color themed all our friends here, including Radley. And it now says this warrior is available to take part in a mission, getting us ready for injuries and that sort of thing. There's actually a passive ability that reduces their chance to be permanently injured, and obviously reduce their stats and that sort of thing. Some of our friends are mutated. We can take a mutant type, which is quite nice. And our Chaos Spawn, he's looking very lovely here. The Chaos Spawn benefits a lot from these color changes. You can see they've done a marvelous job getting this down. Magic. Tzeentch, Lust for Slanesh. One version of Korn, I suppose. And let's get up here. We'll go back to Blood. Lovely. Each of you see, the Blood is actually giving us the Korn symbols on our head, so that's perfect. So what we're gonna do now that you've seen this, we can obviously switch out the units as per usual with our right click and that sort of thing. So we can switch it with the two boys, or whatever we want to do. So let's jump back. Actually, we should probably put our friend back here. Can we take him? We can take him. All right. So let's jump into a quick game, and we'll see if we can't showcase a couple of the changes that have actually taken place. So this is the loading screen. It's slightly modified, as you can see here. It's got our rating. It's got the weird stone chunks and the loot distribution up here. Our scenario and our objective. So let us continue. As you can see down the bottom, let us continue. So you can see the circles are slightly different. The highlighting is slightly different. Textures are really the cameras don't throw around so much, as maybe you noticed. They used to switch angles a lot, and they were much slower. Alright, so the overview map. Outside, possibly much better, Here's a zoomed out version. It's much more usable. The textures are much more, I suppose, reflective of what you're actually looking at. You can zoom, which is quite nice. We can switch between units with Q and E, as usual, which tells us where we are. And we have, basically, up in the top right, a little level indicator to see how deep and how shallow we are, and that sort of thing. So, all very straightforward, all very nice. Thank you very much. So you see a Chaos Spawn friend actually in combat with a Rat Ogre who looks slightly muscular and is decked out in some pretty sweet looking armor. Immediately stunned the Rat Ogre. Possibly this is the thank you with Overpower. Beautiful ability there. Blood Offering! Yeah, alright, let's do this. Alright, so a couple of small little abilities there. Little touches. What we're gonna have a look at here, I have here we go. Crimson Shade and Elven Wine. These are the two consumables that we have. And the Elven Wine, for example, increases crit resist for 30% for 2 turns. Alright, let's try this out. Let's see. Confirm Elven Wine, yes. Drinking in the middle of combat. Lovely. Apparently no negative effects from me getting loaded. So, this is Mordheim, City of the Damned, Early Access. If you like the game, if you want to pick it up, it is looking much better as the days go by. We're actually expecting another patch quite shortly, and still slated for a 2015 release. So if you like it, the link to pick this up will be in the description below. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. and I'll see you next time.